Hi, welcome to SBR Sports Picks. I'm Peter Loshak. It's week 11 in college football. Today is Wednesday, November 7th, and we are doing right now our weekly call with Steve from collegefootballwinning.com. Of course, we pick one game every week and go in depth with Steve. We hear all of his all the factors that he considers and all the nuanced ways that he analyzes a college football game to find point spread value. And of course, lifetime, his results have been phenomenal, right, Steve? This week we're going to cover Oregon and Utah. How are things going recently at collegefootballwinning.com, Steve?
Things are going well, Peter. Thank you for asking. This season we are 67-43 against the spread, so winning at a rate of 60.91%.
Very nice, very impressive. We will find out a little bit more about Steve's website at the end of this video. Right now, though, we're going to take an in-depth look into the Oregon and Utah matchup. And this is a very interesting matchup, of course, because Utah is going to have a new starting quarterback, right? There's a lot of hype surrounding him. A lot of people say that he has a high football IQ. He's been prepping for this his whole life. Utah, of course, has a lot of weapons at offense, at receiver, offensively, which is not always the case with them. They had 4 straight weeks where they put up big offensive numbers, then had a dud last week on the road where they lost. Now they're back at home with this new quarterback. And Oregon, a nice team, an impressive team coming off a big win against UCLA, but they haven't been that good on the road this year ATS-wise, and they're definitely going to face a physical challenge against Utah in general. I think Utah is going to be clearly the most physically challenging team that they've played all year long, and Utah is just a small home favorite. The big question here is what do we expect from Utah in light of the new starting quarterback, and I think it's the understatement of the month to say that Steve has looked into this and will be able to enlighten us one way or the other. Steve, what's your take on Utah? I'm thinking Utah minus 3.5 might be the play here.
Thank you, Peter. Well introduced,
yes,
as always. You hit on so many points that I'm going to elaborate on here. With this game, Peter, let's do a little thought experiment. So let's do this a little differently. So first, let's understand that our bet is an investment, of course. So let's imagine that the side we want to bet is an asset. So we want to purchase this asset where there's value, so at a reduced price or on sale. If we could create a scenario ourselves, how might we construct the perfect underpriced asset or buying scenario? So let me give you 4 major factors. First, let's look at Utah as that potential underpriced asset, okay, that's on sale. Let's get Utah. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to get Utah to lose badly, but most importantly, uncharacteristically. So in other words, a singular anomaly compared to the rest of their body of work. But let's get that loss as recently as possible. So that is the freshest image bettors have in their minds. Well, we can check that box. That was Utah's loss last week to Arizona State. Utah's defense allowed 536 yards of offense. You'd have to go back 3 seasons to find the last time the Utes allowed that many yards. And remember, last week's loss was to Arizona State at Arizona State. Now, ASU is a team that ranks 19th in offensive yards per play versus FBS competition. And now compare that to Oregon. Their offense ranks 53rd in that same category, so not quite in the same league. So uncharacteristic of Utah's defense, Utah is still number 1 in rushing defense, number 2 in scoring defense, number 3 in total defense in the Pac-12 in conference play. Okay, so we have an uncharacteristic recent loss. Second point, let's have the other side, in this case Oregon. Let's have them win in just the opposite manner, okay? So have them win badly, for lack of a better word. We want them to win in such a way that they appear to be better than they actually are. And we also want that win to be as recent as possible. So that's the freshest image people have in their minds when they're betting this game. Well, we could check that box, Peter, because by the box score, Oregon won big last week. They beat UCLA by 3 touchdowns, 42-21. Sounds like a dominant win, but Oregon's defense allowed 496 yards of offense. You'd have to go back a couple of seasons to find the last time Oregon allowed that many yards. In fact, UCLA actually outgained Oregon by 4 yards in that game. Yet because of special teams and a turnover margin of +3 for Oregon, which is a once or twice a season occurrence where you get a turnover margin of +3, Oregon outscored UCLA by 3 touchdowns. So it looks so much better on the box score and offensive defensive production. So that's number 2. Third point, have their last game together, so the last time these two face each other, be deceptive as well. Well, we could check that box because, again, by the box score, Peter, Utah lost badly to Oregon last year. Another 3-touchdown loss, 41-20. But Oregon only outgained Utah by 32 yards. If we use the current college football average yards per point, which is about 14.5, Oregon should have won by a mere 2.2 points. So not the 3-touchdown loss that box score shows. Finally, my fourth major point, let's really drive the price down if we could by having our starting quarterback go down, forcing a first-time collegiate starter, a redshirt freshman. We want him to be our team's signal call. We could check that box. As you said, Utah lost their starting quarterback, Tyler Huntley, in the last game. They now have a redshirt freshman quarterback, Jason Shelley, getting his first collegiate start. But of course, that fact is so well known, Peter, that it's more than built into the line. The starting quarterback's going down, so widely publicized, as compared to, say, a starting center that must be replaced. So the betting market tends to overreact to starting quarterback going down and being replaced by the inexperienced, is what we have here. So talking about those unsung positions that the betting market does not respond well to, or appropriately to, in my opinion, starting centers, going unheralded this way. Oregon will be without their starting center, who had 34 consecutive starts, junior Jake Hansen, for the first half of this football game since Hansen had a targeting call in the second half of their last game against UCLA. So it looks like Oregon will move their starting left tackle, Throckmorton, over to center, and they'll use a freshman, Stephen Jones, at left tackle, that critical left tackle position. So that's the fourth major point. Some smaller points. What's even more to pile on here, Oregon will be without their second leading tackler, senior inside linebacker Lanu Pelu. And Oregon has played, as you said, recently, but we can go back even more than recently. They've played very poorly on the road. The last 3 years, in 15 games away from Autzen, Oregon has covered the spread just 3 times in 15 games, Peter. That's 20% of the time. I'd certainly rather be on the other side of that betting scenario. So even though you might say, well, Mario Cristobal has only been there as head coach this 1 year, well, most of the players have been there the last years. They simply do not play. They underperform on the road. So Utah is our well-constructed, underpriced asset. And based on our numbers, Peter, if these guys played this game just 1 week ago, before Utah's lopsided loss to Arizona State and Oregon's deceptive victory over UCLA, and of course before Utah losing Huntley, we would have made Utah a 13.5 or 14-point home favorite here. So this looks like we're getting Utah at quite the bargain. We're getting Utah on sale. My conclusion, Peter, obviously is I like Utah, but we are recommending buying off that 3.5 to get this line to Utah -3, even if you have to pay as much as -128 to get that half point.
Okay, great analysis, Steve from collegefootballwinning.com. That's what I was thinking at the beginning of the video, and I think I'm going to tail this. It is a split line right now, 3.5 or 4. Steve from collegefootballwinning.com recommends trying to find a way where you can buy it down to 3 at -128 or better. Steve from collegefootballwinning.com. For anyone just watching a video that we're doing for the first time, even though we've been doing it for 8 years, tell us about yourself and what you do at collegefootballwinning.com.
Thank you, Peter. At collegefootballwinning.com, all the company does is college football betting analysis all year round, even in the off season. So we don't do any other sports. We are, as you heard already, this season 67-43 against the spread. That's winning at a rate of 60.91%. Our lifetime formula betting recommendations, our formula winning rate against the spread, and our formula is what we call our algorithmic betting recommendations. We're a company founded on making betting recommendations algorithmically. So that formula going into this season was 60.66% against the spread. Right now, all of our betting recommendations this season, as you heard, 60.91% against the spread. So meeting or exceeding our historical performance. And that's all good news. The bad news is we're currently closed to new clients, but you can still go to collegefootballwinning.com. You can get yourself on our waiting list, and we'd be happy if you did.
That's awesome. Steve, thanks so much. We'll talk to you again next week.
Thank you, Peter. Talk to you then.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to our channel. Now, we've put a lot of work into producing all these free videos, so please help us out and keep all our content free for you forever by simply liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. Now, not to mention, a visit to our industry-leading website will warm the hearts of all our SBR employees, especially myself. Now, the links are over there to the left, so do check those out. Thanks for watching.